Hey folks, here we are again with RPG Maker VX Ace, and we're going to talk about actors and classes and skills in this lesson or tutorial. We're going to go to Tools and Database. And the last times we were in here, we had talked about the actors and how Eric, our default actor, was of the Soldier class. And if you hit the drop-down menu here, you'll see all the different classes. Eric was Soldier, Natalie was the next in line, Monk, and Terrence will be the third one in line. Now these classes, there's 10 characters and there's 10 classes. We're going to go to the Classes tab because it's the Classes tab that these characters or actors are getting their abilities from. We've not defined any features over here, because we're leaving the software to do its default behavior, and its default behavior is to take the class that the character is assigned and go over to classes, and like Eric is a soldier, so we'll go to classes, and here in this area here is all of his abilities and skills, and we're going to talk about this particular page just to give you navigationally what this page is for. So we'll look at the soldier. And every class has an experience curve, and it's a combination of 4 parameters. And you'll note that it doesn't matter which class I grab, the experience curve is 30, 20, 30, 30. So the default is to have the experience curve 30, 20, 30, 30. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if you hit the ellipsis here, then what happens is the experience curve shows to get to the next level, he needs 50 points to get to the next level. You can tweak this. I wouldn't tweak it if you're a beginner. Let's take a look at what these are. These are the 4 parameters that make up the automatic calculation of experience curve. Base value, extra value, acceleration A, and acceleration B. Now to get these tooltips, all I'm doing is hovering over and just hanging on there for a bit to get those tooltips. You need to read these things on your own in your own time, so don't be afraid to come in and just, look at what it is. We're not going to muck with this because we don't need to as a beginner. But in any event, the important thing to note is that every single class begins with the same experience curve, or utilizes the same experience curve. I'm canceling out of there because I'm not changing that. Then there's these parameter curves. And if you look at this, for example, I'm going to look at what this one is. And that ATK stands for attack power. So this is telling you how much damage can this character inflict upon his enemy. Similarly, there's this one here, which is the defense. And that's basically how much does this character's class suffer when an enemy attacks. So these two kind of go together. This is his attack ability and this is his defense ability. Down here is this magic attack and magic defense. So these two go together as well. Magic attack and magic defense. So if you're looking at this, like a soldier, for example, they're very physical. They should be able to attack fairly strongly. This graph is showing almost a 45-degree angle, so he's a very strong attacker. And he's also fairly good at defending too. Not as good as he is on attacking, right? But that's his strong suit right there. What would we see if we went to, say, Thief? His attack curve has gone down. His defense curve has gone down. But look here. His agility curve has gone way up. He's almost at a 45 on agility. And that makes sense because a thief is kind of nimble, right? There's this one here, which is luck. And it's kind of the wild card. And his luck is up too. And that also makes sense because a thief has to be darn lucky not to get caught. Now let's see if a soldier is lucky. Not so much. And neither is he as agile, right? So every one of these classes is going to have different abilities, right? Like a sage, for example, their magic ability is going to be higher than their physical ability, so their magic attack is a steeper curve, and their magic defense is a steeper curve comparatively versus the soldier, right? So now, for most people who are familiar with role-playing games, these classes might be intuitive. But if you don't know what these classes of characters are, I would just suggest you Google it. And let's just go down here. You know, I've gone to this web page. Whoops, didn't want to do that. But this web page, and it's giving you, like, look, it's giving you all the different types of classes and putting them in categories. Like here is the witch, and you've got a witch over in your RPG software. So you might want to read through this to see how the witch works, right? So, anyways, this is a good way of getting familiar with classes if you're not already familiar with them, because otherwise, I think this is just going to be fairly confusing to you. Like the fighter classes, there's your soldier. You know, if you go along down here, you'll see there's the paladin there, and what their outlook is, and kind of explains a little bit about, you know, it's like you're saying, okay, well, I'm a conservative, or I'm a Republican, or I'm a monk, or I'm a priest. You know, you need to understand what your classes are to make. I'm going to get rid of this now. To make your parameter curves make sense to what they're capable of doing. Like, here's a samurai. Look at his attack right up there. Perfect. Not so much on the magic, but very agile. Archer. Oh, look how lucky an archer is and how agile an archer is. Makes sense. So, now, can you change these parameter curves? Sure you can. Like, if I wanted to change their luck, you just double-click on it with the left mouse button. And here's all those parameters, by the way. So you can change any one of them here. And what you do is, if you wanted to change it, you'd give it the level 1 value and the level 99 value, and the software will figure out all the values for each of the levels in between, level 2 through 90, 98. But you know what? I'm not going to touch it. I don't really expect you to touch it. I'm just going to leave it as is because it makes sense to me. Really, there's nothing here that doesn't make sense to me. Now, as I'm playing a game or introducing characters, I might want to tweak something here, but for the most part, I don't think I do. You can also change the maximum number of classes, just like you could change the maximum number of characters. But you're going to need to, you're going to need to understand that you can't be. Like, you're going to need to kind of know. If you wanted to put a swashbuckler into your fantasy game, you need to understand what they do. Like, and I think, like, for example, somebody might say, oh, I want a barbarian, which, it goes berserk, right? Well, here, if we look at soldier, look at this. He's got a skill, a berserker skill, so maybe you don't need a berserker. Maybe these classes are all you need, and you just have, their skills provided that gives them that berserking ability, right? Now, skills come from another tab here, skills. And we'll talk about that in a different video. So, basically at level 5, he's got a stronger attack. Level 10, he's got a cleave. At level 15, he's got a berserker's roar, and on and on. Whereas with the sage, level 1, there's thunder. Level 6 is magic pulse. Like, it's quite robust, I guess is what I'm saying. So, should you have to add? I doubt it. Not for a beginner RPG developer, not at all. Now, the other thing I should mention is the features. Oh, let's go to notes first. That's the easiest. If you wanted something special about your classes to be noted or documented for you as a developer, you just use this as like a notepad. And now we'll go to features. So basically, the features define a lot of what the abilities and formulas to calculate different skill abilities, experience levels, whatnot. So for example, let's just take a look at the thief. So he's got special skills, critical. I think this stands for evasive. We'll go over this, I think, in another tutorial because I'm at 10 minutes here. Yeah, we'll stop this tutorial. We'll look at that in a minute.